is the Vintage RPG Podcast, your source for the best in classic and contemporary RPGs. With your hosts, Hambone and Stu.
Welcome to the Vintage RPG Podcast, coming at you again from the clubhouse hidden somewhere in the swamps of New Jersey. I'm John Hambone McGuire, and with me, as always, is the founder and publisher of Unwittable. We broke the oath yet again, Stu Horvath.
It's crazy that we have both of these guys on one show. Like, why we should have spread it out. They should each get I'm flabbergasted that we're smushing them into one show.
Well, it's absolutely worth it. We're going to give you more bang for your buck today. You know, we've talked about ad nauseum how we were not going to talk to anybody all year, and we have broken that oath twice. The first time for our old friend Tiger Wizard, and this week we're doing it for Skinner and Arik Roper, or as I should say, Skinner, as I normally say when his name comes up on the show. Skinner, Arik, it's great to have you here. How are you doing today?
Doing good.
Yeah, doing good. I'm stoked to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
So metal all of a sudden.
I know. It was like the metal just went up 20%. I love it. So what we're going to talk about today is another old school Essential Month project, which is one of the things that I was most excited for when I heard about it. And I'm thrilled to say that it is live on Backerkit. It's fully funded and it looks cool as hell. It's called the Black Spire Pact, player versus player adventure game books, which is something you don't see too often anymore. And this is going to knock your socks off. So why don't you give us the elevator pitch for the Black Spire Pact?
I think it's sort of, it's like advanced choose your own adventure or something, or it's like player versus player, right? So it's not just you trying to, steal the Mona Lisa or whatever, and you just try to figure that out. I always remember that choose your own adventure from when I was young, but it's like a wizard versus a demon. And so they had Arik do the full wizard book and then me do the demon side. And apparently the demon is kind of the good guy. I don't know, I guess. The wizard's the evil dude. But I haven't played it yet, so I can't give you too much information about that. We're gonna play it live soon. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Arik, do you have more info for me? Because I'm just like, how do you do the mechanics of a choose your own adventure while fighting each other? It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I don't know any more than you do, and I couldn't articulate.
Damn. I thought there was a responsible guy here.
No.
Here, I got you covered. Here, tag me in.
Yeah.
Please come in, Hambone.
So think competitive choose your own adventure books, but with dice. If you're familiar with classic adventure game books such as Fighting Fantasy and Lone Wolf, then imagine that style of play, but with two people trying to kill each other, or at least trying to complete their objective first.
There it is.
Is it 2 books?
It's 2 books, yeah, man.
Okay, so yeah, all right. This is like those Lone Wolf books. There was like the Scarlet Sorcerer and the Emerald Enchanter, and like they were 2 books, and you were navigating the maze, and then periodically you would run into each other and you'd fight. I believe it was sort of like a paper Doom map, if you can imagine that. And then
it's so cool.
It's super cool as well because it is about exploring dungeons. And so there are mechanics like searching for traps, secret doors. You want to make sure you're listening before entering the rooms, as well as the experience of it. If you look at the paper quality on the Backerkit, it looks like you've gone to your favorite used bookstore and you've opened up your book and you've got that beautiful cream colored paper. Oh, looks great.
Yeah, it probably has a good smell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can smell it on the picture there. Max, Max has a good aesthetic, so I think he's diving into the nostalgia factor there.
Did you guys do like a massive amount of illustration work for this thing?
I'm still working. We're still working on it.
Yeah.
we didn't get like a ton of lead up time, so we're trying to hammer out some stuff during the month.
Yeah, we did the covers first, obviously, and a couple pieces that have been shown already.
Here's like a piece that's halfway. It's like
that's amazing.
Right on.
And it's
Yeah.
only audio, so trust us, guys. It's awesome.
Oh, okay. It's a moon entity.
Yeah, we're in progress right now. I'm trying to work on this stuff every day. Yeah, I'm not sure what the total amount of drawings will be after it's all said and done, but we've got a list of ones to get through for the book itself, and there might be more, I think, depending on how it goes with the fundraising.
Yeah, it's crazy to see Arik's illustration for this, because you're like, this is exactly the kind of illustrations that would have like made me happy about my rancid life as a child. I'd be like, oh, that's cool. Like, oh, that's exactly what a freaking dungeon door looks like, because like I think it's always so weird when somebody can kind of perfectly capture an aesthetic, not even like kind of effortlessly, like Arik does. It blows my mind because I remember, you know, there's the cover of like Zork or something.
Yep.
And then there's the illustrations inside, and you're just like, this is so good. Or like as illustrations for RPGs got more advanced, but it was still black and white, like that early, like late 80s type illustration. And I just there's you're gonna be, your mind's gonna be blown when you see what Arik has been doing, like, because I'm trying to do the capture that thing, but I'm also just like, well, I'm not, like, I just got to do what I know how to do. But it is hard not to want to just be like, how do I capture that vibe of like interior black and white illustration from old RPG books, like, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think what you bring, Skinner, is you bring something that's kind of new, and you've kind of defined a certain look of modern fantasy music. That's kind of a vague description, but you have a style that's very kind of contemporary, I'd say, more than retrospective. Whereas I might be more in between, leaning towards retro in some ways, not intentionally, but just how.
Yeah,
and
naturally.
Yeah, and but your style is so recognizable and it's so visceral too, that I feel like anything that you're doing with this is going to be so instantly classic, because you live that. That's your world. That's your lifestyle. This is hardly a job for you. It's really just kind of.
Yeah, I can't escape it. I'm a legend. I'm a legend in my own mind.
You just paint what you see, right?
That's it. That's how he does it.
It is always funny because, like, when you think about things, there is a very specific part of me that is joyfully excited about doing illustrations for choose your own adventure stuff, because I do have the memories of like Scholastic book fair stuff, or finding a book that I've never seen at like an old bookstore that has used stuff that nobody has discovered yet. So it's just full of amazing books. And this is like very much like scratching a sort of itch for me that I'm excited about. And it's cool that it's like during the Exalted Funeral. I don't know what's the official name of this.
It's the Old School Essentials Month.
Yeah,
Demon Month.
Demon Month. Yeah.
Demon Month.
That cover that Ben Mara did for that book's insane.
That's so good.
He's just a star though, man. Like he did I mean, we've been a fan for a long time, all of us, but he just, I guess last year did a whole piece for my buddy Brian Shutter with Neon Lord. He did this whole sprawling, beautiful piece that like Brian's just been chopping up every little bit. It's getting every little inch out of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he has like, it's obvious that he has like such a profound love of the old illustrators.
Oh yeah.
Like, he let David C. Sutherland the third. That was like, he told me his favorite. Which I was like, this guy's not as good as the other guys. What's up with that? But then over time, I'm like, no, it's a different vibe. It's like rudimentary purity.
It's got like that weird jank that like I can pick out the artists when I'm looking at something. I can see which artist Ben would like most, which is such like a weird thing to be able to clock, but like it lines up with his sort of weird janky style that is like so refined, but like you could find it in these sort of the more naive artists from the early days. It's so cool that like he kind of like draws from that and elevates it.
Yeah, it has like also like a Paul Gulacy kind of vibe. The earlier stuff is like very like the poses are very like distinctive.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you guys have I was up late one night not too long ago and I was like looking up the Wikipedia pages of David C. Sutherland and David Trampier, and their lives were very depressing. I don't know if you've seen this. Like they both their lives like end horribly. Like I don't know if you've ever like looked it up.
Oh man.
I mean, honestly, almost all of the old school guys, writers and artists, it didn't go well for anybody. They're all bitter and sad stories. Like it's just, yeah, there's,
Yeah.
but yeah, unfortunate.
You know what's so funny about Trampier is like him having some kind of, you know, rancorous, you know, I don't know if that's a real word, seems real, but like a fight with, you know, TSR or whatever, to the point where he's like, I never want to do illustrations ever again.
Oh yeah.
I want to just disappear into the night. And then he became a taxi driver.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple of months after he just became a taxi driver or something. Somebody did like an article about taxi drivers and they interviewed him and were hanging out with him and they took a photo of him and it was in the paper, and nerd investigator people like saw it, found it, and then everybody was like we know where he's at, let's bother him. You know, and like they asked him like, hey, will you do this, will you sell originals, blah blah. He's like, leave me alone, everybody, you know.
Yeah.
And then years and years go by and then he has like cancer and he needs to pay his bills, so then he's like selling his originals and like, or trying to get money, trying to do, you know, it's like the whole thing is just it's like the worst. I'm glad artists get treated a little better now and that you can actually do things differently, but it's just brutal.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty lowbrow work back then too. You know, what these guys were doing was not at all, you know, respectable for most people.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, but at the time they probably didn't get paid much or think it was very important.
I mean, it essentially was counterculture until a certain point when it became like overtly corporate. You know, if you think about it through the scope of the satanic panic and the times leading up to it, like, you know, there was such a stigma around it, and it's like almost like you're like drawing porno, you know, like
it was super niche, and you know, especially at that time, like before it became even as big as it was in the early and mid '80s when we were aware of it. I'm sure it was even more underground, and you know, these guys probably never thought that anybody was going to see this stuff and didn't take it seriously.
Yeah. And then they were immediately cast aside as soon as they had budgets for color artists like Errol and the Big Four. It's really sad how that original crew got treated. But.
Yeah, and then when Wizards bought D&D or TSR or whatever, basically like David C. Sutherland was just, they were like, we don't need you anymore. Everything, like, farewell.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like there's a lot of stories. There should be like a documentary about this or something, like how artists are treated, how later on their impact is so vast. I mean, people like Jack Kirby, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
But like there's an illustrator who drew the Hulk for a long time in the 70s named Herb Trimp.
Yep.
And what's interesting is Herb Trimp, like, remember in the 90s when everything was extreme, like Mountain Dew, like Rob Liefeld, everything was crazy and shit. You know,
pouches and pockets.
Pouches and pouches.
Yeah, we were doing pouches and stuff, but like Herb Trimp was still drawing at that time, but he was drawing like trying to do Rob Liefeld style, because it was basically like a prerequisite. Like if you want to be a artist now, you have to be like a bootleg Rob Liefeld, McFarlane. You have to be a bootleg of like 6 guys. And Herb Trimp, if you look at his stuff, was fully like he was aping Rob Liefeld. And it's like, this guy's a legendary dude, but he's aping this sort of momentary trend. And then you can just tell at one point he was gone. And they were just like, dude, like, we can't, like, you can't be here anymore. It's like, it's just like so fucked up, I mean, I don't, and as an artist, I kind of, and Arik, I don't know if you ever do this, but like, I'm like kind of a pattern recognition freak. So I'm to survive with the world and life and everything and my career and all this bullshit. So I'm always like recognizing patterns in things and seeing how people are treated and what's working and what's not and all this stuff. And along the way, you kind of start to take stock of lessons in other artistic people's lives. Like, oh, I don't want that to happen to me or whatever. So you innately kind of become more intimately aware of other people's like brutal ends and failings and shit. And I'm just like, it's fucked up, man. Everything's like a Todd Solondz movie or something, I'm just like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Is that how you interact with your career, Arik? Are you constantly looking for the pitfalls?
Not really, no, but I am aware of trends in art, trends in advertising and trends in art. I've always found that to be interesting to see how, advertising and marketing goes through waves of trying to appeal to different things on a mass level. And of course, the way that illustration and commercial illustration goes through these fluctuations as well. So I do stay aware of that stuff. So I'm not just one of these people who closes myself up and draws and doesn't care what the outside world thinks. Because I came up as a commercial illustrator professionally. I mean, I've been drawing my whole life. My mother was a commercial illustrator. So I kind of came into it with the idea that I need to be able to draw a lot of different things to make a living out of this. And I worked for ad agencies when I was younger, and I drew lots of stuff that looks nothing like what I do mostly now. So I've had to stay aware of it to some degree, but I always kept doing what I like to do, which is what we're talking about today, which is fantasy and sci-fi and just really strange kind of otherworldly illustration. I really love escapist artwork, I guess you could say. So I just kept doing that, even when it wasn't that cool, I guess, which was, as early as recently as the 90s, the early 90s. I remember this stuff was really kind of out of fashion, during that time, and it hadn't come back yet. And I was just doing this kind of stuff. I didn't really give a shit what people thought about it. And people were like, really? You like drawing these people, like these weird skeletons with swords and stuff like that? It's like, why aren't you drawing, spray paint cans?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I like graffiti and because I like typography and I appreciate the creative value of that a lot, but I still like drawing skeletons and swords much more. So maybe I'll combine them, but I'm not going to stop just because, you think that's, not cool. And fortunately, the world changed, and things now have become, what was lowbrow has become not just accepted, but, it's become the marketplace in a lot of ways. So there's a lot to say for sticking with what you like to do and what you're passionate about. It doesn't always go as well as this, I think, because, you could easily be in some love to draw something that never becomes appealing to most people, that could also happen. But in this case, it did. So to answer your question, yeah, I stay aware of that stuff, but I don't think about it for myself because fortunately, I get to draw the kind of things that I am inspired by these days. I get to be creative for the most part with the jobs I do. People ask me to be creative for them. There aren't a lot of times anymore where I'm taking orders from an art director, although occasionally I still do that stuff. I try to stay aware, and I think it's important if you want to be an informed person and artist.
I want to see that you draw like a skeleton, like spray painting on a tomb.
Yeah, I did that stuff. I combined some of that, like sci-fi and graffiti stuff in the 90s when that stuff was
I gotta see this, dude.
allegedly cool.
Rope Dog. Back when you went by Rope Dog.
That's right. Yeah, I did some graffiti.
Hell yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did some pieces and things. Yeah, I wasn't as into it as the. I went to school with some real serious graffiti people who are now famous for it, but I was never like that about it. But I did appreciate the design because to me, typography is really fascinating, and when people could actually get creative with the lettering, I really did love that stuff. Plus, I was a huge Von Bodie fan, and before I even knew about graffiti, and graffiti culture worshipped the style of Von Bodie, and so that kind of that worked for me too.
I was just curious, Arik, if you have a similar sort of long-standing fascination for the choose your own adventure style black and white art that Skinner was mentioning earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I used to buy those books, and I was really into the artwork. The artwork was the thing that drew me to all this stuff. Dungeons and Dragons and everything was always the artwork, of course. I mean, what else are you going to respond to at first? But yeah, the Choose Your Own Adventure books, especially, I was into those. I would, the cover art. I can't remember the names of the ones I had, but I was pretty into those. Yeah.
Yeah. Which ones? Which were you? What were you? I mean, dude, because there was like the cool badass ones, and then there was like the ones for normie kids.
Yeah, there's kind of
100%
square ones, right? Yeah, there's a lot of dumb ones about like you said, like who stole the Mona Lisa? Who?
Dude, I remember that one is like so stuck in my mind. I'm like, I saw that, I was like, I don't give a shit about this.
Like, I don't care who did this, but I'm going to find out anyway. I'm going to read this thing and I'm going to look at all the alternative answers. I was, I can't remember which ones they were, but they were always the fantasy ones. There's like, I can't remember any titles, but I got a really cool one just about 2 years ago when I was in England. It's something Hell House.
Oh yeah, with the Ian Miller cover.
Yeah, Ian Miller.
Yeah,
it's awesome, and it's I got it at a bookstore in Salisbury, England, I believe, and it's so cool. I mean, the artwork is really cool, and it's really dark too. It's gory, and it's pretty evil.
Oh, dude, they go hard. It's so crazy because at PAX Unplugged, we usually run into their booth, and they Choose Corp, I think they're called, goes and they reissue all the old ones. They putting out new ones, but they're also making some that are geared more towards younger, older teen audience, and maybe people who are like my age who are very nostalgic for it. But like, I bought a stack of them. I got one about the Mothman. I got one they did at the Mountains of Madness, and I'm like, you did out in the Mountains of Madness? Like, yeah. I was like, how hard do you go? They're like, we go pretty hard in this, and they do. It's gory. It's messed up.
Dude, I gotta get some of these. Damn.
Yeah, and the best thing is they're still affordable. Like, I think I paid like $8 or $9 for the book, which I'm like, dude, nowadays that's insane.
That'd be cool if there was like a David Lynch style, like Choose Your Own Adventure. Like that'd be kind of cool, huh? Like you died in a car crash or something.
Well, I mean, they have.
There's a beautiful woman in there.
Yeah. You hear music playing backwards.
A weird ugly dude is filming you.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Oh man. So this is like these are the episodes I love because it's we're selling some shit. It's fine.
Yeah, sorry. I'm kind of not the best interview.
No,
you guys are fun. I think we need to apologize to Max because we're not selling the product.
Oh, right.
Max.
Max Moon's so great, and like It's always nice to work with somebody who's just so easy and like benevolent and kind. And so, because it just makes me want him to be more successful. I
Of
think like
course.
when I work with people who are kind of like shitbirds, I'm like, man, fuck you. Just give me the money. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So it's like you want people that love, when you see the nerd in another person and they're just like they have love and loyalty to the thing that they love, and you're just like, I want to support that. I want
Yeah.
it for you.
Yeah.
So let me hit you with some details. I'll be the detail guy. So what's cool about this project is it's a 2-book set and it comes in a slipcase. And in addition to being what it is, which is a head-to-head choose your own adventure style book, as a bonus content, they're also making a PDF version of the Black Spire Pact that's compatible for traditional old school essential games. So if you want to run it at a table for multiple people, there's an option to do that as well. And that's just some bonus content they're going to be handing out. The artwork in this is stellar. You're going to enjoy one of the things that I enjoy most about anything that Max Moon puts out is the quality is always better and more thoughtful than most other TTRPG creators who have to put things out mass market. There's a very special tactileness that comes with anything that you pick up from Max Moon. It's fully funded. There is a stretch goal that there's 16 days left on this, and I know you guys are still drawing, but another 3K, and you're gonna have to draw more. So let's try to get them to do that, folks. This is definitely something that's worth checking out. If you go over to the Backerkit, there'll be links to everything. There's a video, you can see more on it, and there's also some cool stuff to check out. They're going to be doing some actual play of it, so you're going to actually get to see it in action, and that's coming up soon as well. Just keep tabs on that and keep looking back at the Black Spire Pact from Flaming Hand, player versus player adventure game books, live now on Backerkit.
Yes.
All right, so now we got that out of the way.
It's going to be sweet because, like, I think it's like a really good opportunity for, to do play with another person, because normally my whole life growing up was very like isolated, like, oh, I'm just gonna read my books alone and do this stuff, and it was hard to find other nerd people to do stuff with or play D&D or hang out, whatever. And now I just feel like it's out in the open. Everybody's a freaking nerd now. So it's like if you have both books, you just go, here, bring both books. Here you go. Let's play, whatever. I mean, I want to take them camping type
Yeah,
shit. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
force the wife to try to kill me. Fancy stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Didn't Max say that the average play time is roughly like an hour to hour and a half or something? So it's not extremely long necessarily.
Yeah, it's great.
I think that's what he said.
Yeah, if you don't want to have this like long preparatory D&D RPG type situation, you're just like, let's just go to the lake and play and drink a beer and chill, something. That sounds good.
Well, it sounds cool to me. So while we got you here, captive audience, I definitely want to talk to you about some other stuff. Arik, you've got a book you want people to check out.
Yeah, my collected book, Vision of the Hawk, which is about 25 years of pieces that I've put together in a book, kind of like a greatest hits collection, I guess. There's a lot of stuff that hasn't been published before. I think you guys have talked about it on the podcast before, but it's I believe it's still available. Strange Attractor Press printed it.
Awesome.
And that
You have to have it.
You do. It's a fantastic
it's like
book.
truly a unique, one of a kind. I mean, if you're a D&D nerd, if you're a fantasy nerd, if you're a metal nerd, or like I mean, it's like breathtaking stuff. So
That's the Venn diagram right
Thank
there.
Looking through it, it was like every page I knew so much of your work, but didn't realize it was all one guy. So like it had like this cumulative effect for me where I was just like, holy crap, he's like the artist of a generation. Like I was just like it all of a sudden so much made sense because I realized like it was all coming from one person.
Thanks, man. Thank
Well,
you.
if you think about like what we were talking about, what Arik did by just like making his kind of weird fantasy art while everything else was in like a different trend. If you look at what was being done, what you were doing at that time are now legendary album covers, rock posters, like all this like illustration, what Arthur magazine and stuff, right? Like, I mean, everything like those Sleep album covers, like that's forever like iconic stuff.
Yeah, it just kind of turned out that way.
Yeah.
Those weren't things you can predict. They just kind of,
The world caught up.
yeah, yeah. And I'm lucky to have been able to, work with these people because they kind of took me on a journey with them. Some of these bands and people I worked with. So yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate in that way.
I love it, man. It's
Yeah.
the best. Yeah. I'm stoked. I'm gonna look at it today. Get more inspired for these drawings, dude.
And Skinner,
Yeah.
what are you working on right now?
Some paintings and some illustrations. I'm
And your show,
Oh
the
yeah,
paint-
my art show is out. You can go see it. Art show with Captain Skinner, which it's
I
Awesome.
love your captain hat.
a nightmarish inversion of Mark Kistler's Commander Mark's Secret City. I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
You remember that?
yeah.
Because I
Secret City
didn't
was
like
great.
I didn't like the Captain Skinner part. I was like, I hate this part. And then I was like, take this part off. No Captain Skinner shit. This sucks. I'm cool. I'm badass. They were like, no, it's like that show. And I was like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you have to wear the captain's hat. And I was like, no, I'm not going to wear the captain's hat. And I was like, I'll only wear the captain hat if you let me talk about how much I hate it all the time. And they were like, okay, deal.
Deal.
But that's out. That's really cool. It was fun. We filmed it like a year ago. All 10 episodes and an 11th lost episode. Truly uniquely fried experience to watch this. But yeah, my stop motion horror fantasy film Shrine of Abominations is out. It's been done, and it's in an anthology that's going to play in theaters. And I'm working on Skin Crawl 3, issue 3, my horror comic.
Awesome.
And then also I made like a pilot, like an animated pilot that's going to be done very shortly. But besides that, just what else? I'm trying to just get better at drawing and inking. I don't know. Like that's it. Like, I'm looking around. I'm like, what the fuck going on here?
You know what, man? I'll tell you. I used to. I scoff at that too, but at the same time, like I know it from like people and players that I've known their entire life. Musicians who are like, yeah, you're like, wow, you're really good. It's like, yeah, I could be better. And you're always pushing yourself. And I think that's a sign of what a good artist and what a good artist should be is. It's not being willing to rest on your laurels. Like you got to like what's the point? It's like if you slow down, if you stop, you're dead. Fuck it. Keep pushing.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to keep growing, because I think a lot of people get stuck in a rut and they do one thing and they just kind of stay there for a while, but you can always get better. And as an artist, I feel like it's something that you can do into old age if you keep yourself healthy enough and astute enough to know what looks good and what you're doing. And it's not like a sports or something where you have to retire. You can keep going, and I don't see why you wouldn't want to keep improving.
And that's the thing. I mean, like we scoff jokingly at you guys as artists being like, we want to get better at drawing because in our minds, like, looking at your art, that's like Eddie Van Halen telling us, I should take some guitar lessons. Like, well, you guys are pretty fucking great.
Any of us will tell you that, we look at our own work and we see a lot of flaws.
Yeah.
Oh, see.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that's so crazy is we live in my opinion, we live in like a golden age of illustration.
Oh yeah.
It is a truly astonishing and sometimes discouraging and a little daunting to see so many like who I consider to be like very younger people. And I'm like, damn, this fool, because I was just like, I just partied too much or something. Like I should have been drawing, dude. Like these guys, you know? And I see them and they're just crushing these artists. They're just humbly crushing so insane. And I'm like, it's interesting. I think reflecting on what Arik was saying about trends, because when around the time that Instagram was sort of first coming out, like starting, I didn't realize that was going to basically be like the artist platform. I mean, it's garbage now. It sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, but like when it came out, it was like very much like a lot of weird, highly accomplished artists were coagulating there. And I was like, damn, they're all over the place and they're all here and I could see them. And it's only gotten crazier. The skills, the styles, the abilities. And
don't you think it works like that with art and other types of art too, like musicianship and even in sports and things, like especially with skateboarding? I remember that it's once one generation can do something, the next generation starts at that point and they can do stuff that's even better. And the next generation, it builds and builds. So it's like the young people today who are so good are kind of, it's like they inherit the skills that are here when they start. And, you know, not all of them, but the ones who are really good are just so damn good. You're like, holy shit. Like these guys are as good as, you know, it took most people 25 years to get. And they're young.
It's like how metal keeps getting faster. Like if you listen Sabbath, you're just like, whoa, this is so slow.
Right. Yeah. But in that case, Sabbath is better. So it's
true.
That's correct.
Well, I mean, that's the like the more in your own lane that you are is sort of, I guess, that's where the good, quote unquote, that's where being good is, right? It's like you can have a skill, you can accomplish it, but like I've seen artists that I'm like, oh, this person's pretty good, but I can tell that they haven't fully gone into their own zone yet. And I'm like, I know when they do, it's going to be insane. Once they do, it's going to be off to the races. But
they're still stuck in Pushead.
Right. Yeah. But like, okay, so like think about the last time, in my opinion, a golden age of illustration that a lot of people maybe aren't familiar with is like when Virgil Finlay was around. So then you had like Virgil Finlay, Hans Bach, Lee Brown Coy, Matt Fox, right? But they were all totally different and all totally in their own lane, which is very weird lane. Virgil Finlay being in this, it was almost like classical composing, excruciating skill and
so many stipples.
Yeah, and ability. And then Lee Brown Coy was just like, what about if it was like an old scary dude and there was some logs, you know, or whatever. And then, you know, but it's perfect. And then Matt Fox is like the master of imps and witches. And, you know, Hans Bach, who is this sort of expressionistic horror, like weird master, you know, and you think about it, in a world where everybody is sort of influenced by each other because of how like, connected we are with the internet, these dudes were just not. They were like, I don't even know what anybody's doing. I'm just doing this. And hopefully somebody likes it one day. That's not the case now where like you basically can see that everybo's better than you.
Yeah.
But everybody else is looking at you guys being like, oh man, I'm never going to be like that. So like it's circular, right? Like everybody's constantly like worried about how good they actually are.
And it pushes people too, you know, like pushes us, you know. Don't you get inspired when you see, somebody half your age doing this incredible stuff?
Oh yeah, of course, man.
Sure.
Inspired is probably a nice way to put it. More like,
no, I like it. I mean, I'm stoked on it. I think it's cool. Mostly the thing is, I feel like the only thing I have to really offer, or that I do willingly offer, is just like business insights as an illustrator, and just be like, look, this is what I've learned. You take this information if you wish, or don't, whatever. But this actually was a lesson for me, and you don't have to learn that lesson. Here you go. And but besides that, like, I don't feel like I'm like some master illustrator dude. Like, I'll just be like, look, these are the tools or whatever, or like.
Yeah, but even that, man, the fact that you keep the gate down and you don't keep anyone out, that's the kind of stuff that, like, when you are an up and coming artist, when you're a creator, the things that no one tells you are the things you really need to know. And so, like, that's, doing stuff like that for the community, for the scene, for other artists on the way up, that's huge, man. That's huge, because that's the thing that they can't. You can learn it. You'll figure it out eventually, but it's always nice when someone says, "Oh, don't do that. That's a trap."
Well, that's why it's nice to know the history of, like, your Sutherlands and your Trampiers,
100%,
and the guys who got trapped in those pitfalls.
Yeah, I think the one thing and I don't know, Arik, you probably get younger artists that ask you about, like, art, like, how do I be an artist, or how do I do this stuff? The first thing that I ask people is like, okay, like, what do you want to do though? And then, like, a lot of times what happens is that if they haven't thought about that, it fucks them up, you know?
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, you should figure that out first and then come back,
That's a great point. Yeah, you should always ask that about something you think you want to do. It's like, are you sure, and why?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. And
it's very wizardly.
Well,
you want to go on this question?
But let me ask you guys, like when you were like little wee, like, not artists yet, what did you guys want to do that got you here?
I hated my job. I didn't really like my regular job. I didn't have anything else going for me.
So you just wanted anything else?
No, I had nothing going, man.
How old were you when you started really? I mean, you're talking. You had another job. I mean,
I worked with. I taught art to people with developmental disabilities. Like, I had a job working with people with disabilities, and I got fired for body slamming them all day. No, I'm just kidding. That's not.
Jesus Christ.
No. I was looking at Arik's face. I was like, I was like, is he gonna laugh? Is he gonna
I was trying to think of a good joke.
Yeah.
But I was a little in shock.
No, but like, I worked there, and I loved it. I love, like, I'm number one. I think that people with Down syndrome should be in charge of making films and acting in film. I'm pro Down syndrome across the board. It's the greatest experience of my life is hanging out with them all day long. But I would say that my coworkers, I realized, like, okay, this was when Juxtapose was like kicking off all crazy. And I'm like, damn, dude, this is cool. What's this? And I lived in Sacramento, so there wasn't like a ton of opportunities, And so I was like, damn, this is cool. And so I just started like really painting a lot, drawing a lot, having art shows at like frozen yogurt shops and shit, putting my paintings up. And like, after a while, I was like, I feel like there's a path here for me. I would drive to work early in the mornings and look at Super 7 magazines and Juxtapose and art magazines and look through books and Giant Robot and all that shit. And I was like studying like what people were doing. And I was like, this is cool. Like, so then I just started driving down to San Francisco all the time and making connections and meeting people and all this stuff. And like one day we had a meeting at my job where we were airing our grievances, and I just basically was like, I told the boss, I was like, I think that you're compromising the integrity of the program. I think you're making everything about you and your convenience and all that. Anyways, I got fired that day. And this was in the middle of 2008, the economic crash.
Oh God, yeah.
So I was just doing that. I was like, well, I guess I got to do this. It's like boot camp, you know? And I did it. And I was like, you know, what is it that I have to offer really? And I was like, mythology, horror, global dread, anxiety, depression, the occult, drugs, all this stuff. And I was like, let me turn this into something, you know? And so it just sort of worked out. But like, you know, a lot of people are like, that's crazy, you followed your dreams. And I was like, I did quote unquote follow my dreams, but I also was in a really desperate place to do something with my life that meant something to me. And I got fired.
Yeah.
So I built, you know what the funniest shit was that I got unemployment, right? And I was like, fuck, okay, at least I got unemployment, you know, whatever. And I filled out the little information card wrong, like after a month, and they cut off my unemployment.
Yeah.
And I was all, oh shit, dude, what'd I do? And then I was like, all right, I gotta crank it up, man, you know? And so I just started just grinding, you know, painting, illustrating 17 hours a day, and working on stuff and trying to do stuff for bands and selling little paintings and doing this and that. And I'd borrow, you know, $60 from my mom on a Monday, and then buy burritos with that money all week. And then at the end of the week, have enough money to pay her back Friday, Saturday, and then borrow another $60 on Monday, you know. So it was like very, it was like Dickinsonian fucking, you know, chimney sweeper type. It wasn't glorious. It was no glory to me, you know. I was like, let me crawl around in the mud like a psychotic amoeba until I get some money.
But you had seen something to get to with those juxtapose and the way the scene developed. You kind of saw yourself there.
Oh yeah. I was like, there's something here. This is cool. This is really cool. But like I was saying, I could recognize patterns. And so as soon as I got in there, I was like, you know, in juxtapose and being in there, I could see the writing on the wall that like galleries were not feasible really. Things were changing, like the vibe was off, like changing. It was about monetizing stuff and selling merch and all this shit. It was like I could just see it all kind of unfolding, and I was like, how do I want to land in all this shit, you know? And ultimately I tried to do what Arik is saying, which is just kind of go with who you are, stay on your own shit. And that can change if you change as a person, but to protect that and kind of just be like, look, I'm in this I'm a weird dude. And I've seen artists, you know, over the years, kind of rise up really, really high and then just fall off and go away. And I would prefer this sort of like annoying, infected blister of a career that's just slowly rising, you know?
Hey man, say what you will about Sisyphus. He was on that mountain the whole time, just kept pushing.
Never goes away.
How about you, Arik? What did baby Arik want out of being an artist?
Baby Arik. Well, first, I just wanted to say I can't believe how quickly you did that, Skinner, because from 2008 to when I first heard about you wasn't that long, and you just skyrocketed. So I mean, mine was quite different. First of all, when I was a little kid, I always knew I wanted to do this. I've been drawing. I would sit around for hours drawing when I was 3 years old and never stopped. So there wasn't really any question about whether I was going to do this. I never gave it any thought that I wanted to do something else seriously. But it helped a lot because my parents were both artists and they encouraged me to do this if I wanted to. So it became very matter of fact. And I was doing this, through elementary school and high school. And, I would enter drawing contests and win. Like I remember won a bike, like on some national contest.
What, dude? Holy shit!
I would enter contests and win these, drawing, draw this thing on the back of the cracker box, and
You're the guy.
Yeah,
I'd get a bike, or I'd do that, and I'd get a radio or something.
Damn, bro. Damn.
I thought that was a work.
Cool.
Yeah, well, yeah. In retrospect, it sounds kind of cool. It wasn't happening every day, but point being,
it wasn't happening every day.
I was
everyone know damn radio.
Toys this way. I was just like, winning.
I never even won any sea monkeys. I'm just kidding. But okay, wait. So do you have these drawings from when you were little and growing up?
Yes, my mom has them somewhere in a box. Yeah,
we have got to see these.
They're not.
Come on, bro.
All right, let me continue with my biopic here.
Yes, please.
Autobiopic, I guess. Yes. So I just kept doing this kind of stuff, and when I was in high school, I just assumed I would go to art school. My dad worked at the art department at the local university, VCU in Richmond, Virginia. And I was like, yeah, I'll probably, I'm going to go to art school. And there was no resistance from my parents to not do that. They'd have been quite disappointed if I'd chosen, to be a doctor or a lawyer or something. So I ended up going to SVA in New York here, where I still am. And I just kept doing it. And looking back on it, I can see it was a very organic approach. I didn't really try very hard to make connections and put myself out there. Where I happened to be in the right place at the right time in a lot of cases. But I was also very good at it. So this confluence of things allowed me to get more work. And then I happened to plug into a music scene that was just kind of exploding in the 90s, this kind of like stoner rock and metal music scene, for which I did some, posters and t-shirts and record covers. And that stuff got big. And then, those bands kind of took the artwork with them. And then people started coming to me for that stuff. So that's how that grew. And it was all really pretty grassroots. I didn't have a website back then. This was pre-social media by a long shot. This was like, I'm talking like 1996, 97, 98. And I was working at MTV Animation at that time, actually, with Chris Bernowski. I was working on his show.
What show was that?
It was called Downtown.
Okay.
Yeah, 1999. Yeah, Chris and I went to school together at SVA, and I worked with him.
So you probably know Cheese Hasselberger too.
Yeah, I know him.
Dear friend of mine. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I just saw him at the Titmouse party a few months back.
Yeah, man. He's a real good friend of mine. That's awesome.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. So anyway, I kept doing it, and it just kind of grew from there. I got to say that's kind of what it was, because the band stuff kind of took on a life of its own, and then doing the stuff for Sleep, really, they turned into such a cult band, such a mythic band that really became much bigger than I ever thought it would be. And I started doing, I guess, Skinner, we probably somehow got connected through Mondo. I believe that was the first, somebody there told me about you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. It was.
Well, I remember getting an email from you one day years ago, and I was like, Arik Roper emailed me, because you saw my book, Every Man is My Enemy, and you're like, wow, dude, this is crazy. You're crazy, and I was like, what the fuck? This rocks.
Oh, cool. I don't know. I don't quite. I remember the book. I don't remember sending that email, but I got. Whoa.
That's so fucking funny. Yeah, I remember because I told Christy and I was all, Arik Roper emailed me. Oh my God. She's like, babe, that's so cool. That's a big deal. Like, and I was like, yeah.
That's nice. That's nice.
No, I don't remember.
Oh,
No, I think, it was one of those guys like Mitch or Justin or somebody at Mondo told me about you, and I looked you up or something, and then I got your book, and that's probably how it went.
Cool.
But
I'll take it.
And things kind of took off around that time a lot, with doing screen print posters and stuff like that. There's a lot that kind of exploded around this, like the 2006 era, 2008 to 2006 to 2010. It seems like a lot of stuff started happening with publishers and getting stuff out there. So, but I've never been a real merch person. I've never put myself out there in terms of selling products, which I probably should, because I'm sure I'm losing out on a lot of income by not being a better businessman. And you're a really good businessman, Skinner. You are quite good at hustling as well as, making the work itself. And I'm not so good at hustling. So,
dude, it's okay. You're supposed to be chill.
Okay, good. That's my job.
Let me be the crackhead, dude. Let me be the tweaker, dude.
Is there a Patreon account for being chill?
You know what? Here's the thing, though. You could easily do a Patreon if you just were like, here's me drawing, here's me talking. Like, I'm actually launching a Patreon that's gonna be time lapses of my drawings and illustrations of paintings, and then I just basically talk over them. Like I just talk about being an artist and things I like and all this rant, because I never shut the fuck up, whatever. And then I do book reviews where I like look at through books and talk about what I love, how it impacted me, the artist, the art, all this stuff. I have hundreds and hundreds of books. I love it. And then I'm going to do like a call-in show where people could call in and leave messages and like answer them. So I think that like ultimately you don't need that many people, right, to sign up to make it worth your time. And it's kind of fun. And then it's just like you can make money sharing your stuff.
I'm actually going to do that too. I'd already decided I was going to start a Patreon. I didn't say to mention it here because it hasn't actually been set up and I don't want to.
Now you have to do it.
Now I have to do it. And let's talk about that, Skinner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mystery being made right here.
I love it.
Right here. Yeah. I mean, because, and I'll tell people about your Patreon on mine.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just a little cynical about those things because I don't know how well they work, but I'm sure they obviously work a little bit, if not a lot.
No, they work great, man. I mean, there's not to say you're gonna make like millions of dollars, but there's some creators who actually make millions of dollars on their Patreon because that's where they put out their stuff and they have a loyal fan base.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
We are not one of them.
Yeah, we make hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Well, my goal is low. Like I'm like starting low where I'm like, is this attainable to get to a point to make? Because I actually all I do is draw and illustrate, and I do different stuff, right? Making shit, sculpting, like dry brushing a figure, doing whatever. I am doing it. I might as well just like videotape it and then talk about it.
That's what I'm thinking too. I mean, I'm working anyway, so why not, at least
100%
put some video on it.
Well, this is an amazing, I don't even want to call it an episode. This was like a hang, and this was awesome. For us who are fans of you both as artists, like this was huge. It's, we liken it to the time where like we had, Era Otis on, where we had Tony DiLizzi on, where it's like, what a cool way to learn about the kind of stuff that you love. But this is a great hang. Thank you both for coming on. Folks, the Black Spire Pact Player versus Player Adventure Game Books for Old School Essentials Month. It's going to be on Backerkit, rocking until June the 5th, unless it goes into overtime, like a lot of projects have been doing lately. Definitely worth checking out. It's from Flaming Hand. It is Max Moon. It's Arik Roper. It's Skinner. And it is Janaka Stucky. It's going to be something you're going to want to definitely have on your shelf. It's going to be something you're actually going to want to play. So definitely check that out. Black Spire Pact on Backerkit for Old School Essentials Month. Dudes, it was fantastic talking to you. Let's start with you, Arik. Where can people find you on the internet? Where can people pick up your stuff?
My website, arikroper.com, is a good place to find me. You can contact me through there. There is a store on there which has t-shirts and posters. Also on Instagram, just my name, Arik Roper. And those are the two places for me. Feel free to drop me a line. I always try to answer people.
Very cool. How about you, Skinner?
Just at the Art of Skinner on Instagram, or you could go to Facebook if you want. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't really, but yeah, I have my web store is down. I'm reopening it in like 2 weeks. And yes, you can find me on theartofskinner.com if you want to look at my other stuff. But yeah, that's it.
Well, very cool. We will have you back anytime. We will break any oath to talk to you dudes again, because this was fucking fantastic. And this has been another amazing episode of the Vintage RPG Podcast. Stu, where can people find you on the internet?
They can find me at Vintage RPG. No, I'm not really on Instagram anymore. VintageRPG.com. That's where all the stuff is. I got lured in by Arik and Skinner mentioning their Instagrams. I got it. All of a sudden, it was 5 years ago. VintageRPG.com. That's where I do all the posts and other stuff. There's the newsletter and all that jazz. Check it out.
You can find me at John McGuire RPG across the internet. I've been posting more because I'm promoting, but the real action is over on Patreon, patreon.com/vintagerpg. I actually started a new column. I didn't tell Stu about it until I knew about it. Just surprise. It's called The Process with John Hambone McGuire. I realized I hadn't really been talking a lot about my actual writing process and been doing it for like a bunch of years. So I'm going to start doing this column and actually showing you more behind the scenes look at the things that I'm actually doing when I'm creating tabletop RPGs. Speaking of our Patreon, it is a killer place where for as little as $1 a month, you get early release episodes, some of the time between like Friday and Sunday, depending on when we record them. We have a killer Discord community. We'd love for you to be a part of it. It truly is an oasis from social media. And there's other cool stuff happening as well. Patreon.com/vintagerpg. If you like the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Your reviews really do help our listeners to find us. So for Stu Horvath, I'm John Hambone McGuire. May the dice always roll in your favor. Thanks for listening. The Vintage RPG Podcast is a ham-fisted production. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Schaefer Brown. Edited by R. Alex Murray. Check us out at vintagerpg.com.